and I think that's what happened. I guess we had some differences, and that's okay. It kind of makes every team different to have those. So she was a big part of the group, and it kind of sucks that she did leave and a few members left this year. But you kind of just keep trucking and move along, and other members stepped up, and the team's going as strong as ever. So it's all good.
Good. And you guys are known to have your events at what is it called? The movie events or whatever you have.
The Independent Film Festival
event and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the film festival. How did that come along? How was that brought up? And
I worked in independent film with some friends about late 90s, and I know how hard it is to work in independent film. And of course, seeing how much Wayne put into his documentary and everything that he does, it's a lot of work. So I decided to showcase independent paranormal film, actually scale it down to just independent paranormal or horror genre, basically, and couple that with a local charity to be able to help somebody out locally. And it was kind of my pet project, something that I came up with, and it's been a lot of fun. It's a lot of work, but it's only once a year, so it's a lot of fun.
Do you have a location thought out for next year?
Not yet.
Is there any events coming up that you're looking forward to this summer, maybe? I'm actually heading to Waverly in August with some friends, and I just last month, Brooklyn, Nevada. That's kind of all that's really in the works right now. This year has been a little bit rougher as far as finances go. I think I took too many trips last year. So I'm hoping to get out to Virginia City again. That's a place that I just totally love. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there is, a lot of the cheaper events that are coming up, like StuCon 4 and stuff, so those ones, like, everybody can afford.
I've been asked to be at StuCon 4.
Good luck.
So
I don't think we even know where it's at yet. I've just been told it's Los Angeles.
Okay. Okay.
The cheaper events are definitely a lot easier, a lot better. I think when I was in Goldfield, you guys were at Yuma. So, events that are under $50 are probably the best deal for anybody. And I don't see why they have to be so expensive. Cut out the celebrities sometimes, and, they'll get cheaper.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like to up their prices because of celebrities in the paranormal field and stuff. And, I mean, it's a right to charge, just not overcharge. I really don't think there's too many celebrities in the paranormal field. If you're going to have an event and you're going to have, like, actors like Brad Pitt or somebody, then, I'll pay $10. But, anything else than that, it's just another person, I believe.
I'd probably pay more than $10 to see Brad Pitt.
Let's do like 100. Okay, so Corey from, I believe he's from X Paranormal, he has a question. He says, what's your opinion on ghost boxes and shack hacks?
I think they can be used really well. I think people just really, really need to be careful. When they cycle through and land on something and say something, that's not always going to be your answer. They're kind of made Well, the original ones, the actual Frank's boxes, are a lot easier to listen to. I've actually listened to one that Frank Sumption made, and they're a lot easier to listen to. You don't have that tick 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 of the channels, and you can actually hear the voices come through. So it's a lot easier on the ears. But we've used them. We've used them effectively. They drive me crazy after about 10 minutes listening to all those sounds. But yeah, we've used them. We've gotten some really great responses. We were on the Berkeley in San Diego one time and actually got cussed out in Spanish. Then they used the F word at me. So,
Wow.
it's not something that's going to come through the airwaves. I mean, the FCC doesn't allow you to curse on standard radio waves. So that's when I knew, maybe there is something to this.
Yeah, that's the most surprising thing that happens when you use like an ITC device, and sometimes I've been there. You know how much of a skeptic I was when I started, and I've been there when it just like shouts out just an exact response to a question, just right there, right in front of you, so you can't really deny it,
Yeah, we were using one in Virginia City at a location, and there were 7 of us in the room, said 5 of our names. And it said names, it said Peaches quite a few times. It said my friend Zori, who is now the Ghost Adventures crew management team, and then a few other friends' names, and they weren't that common. So that it didn't freak us out, but it was one of those things that was like, wow, that was pretty cool.
Has there ever been a location that's scared you or unnerved you so much that you might have decided not to continue into paranormal?
I haven't been scared that badly. Some team members have, but recently I was in Goldfield, Nevada. We were in the Nixon building, which was one that the Ghost Adventures they were going to investigate the last time they went to Goldfield. And then ended up getting back into the Goldfield Hotel, which is an extremely hard place to get into, by the way. Nixon building, Joe and Ruffalo were with us, and something zapped Vicky to where she actually took a step away from me because it came right between us. And she's like, I'm afraid to even go near you because I'm getting this caution, feeling. And I'm like, okay, great. Later on that evening, we're up in that same building, and I just started feeling really woozy. It is a higher elevation, so, I understood that part, but it was something different. I could tell it was something different, and I was starting to, my head started to spin. And if you've ever been really intoxicated, you close your eyes and the room spins. That's how I felt. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? I hadn't had a drop of alcohol at all. And then I had to grab onto the table because everything was spinning around me. And in my mind's eye, I could hear, in my head, I could hear a woman sobbing. And Vicky said she got that too. The word mistress kept going around in my head. And then somebody said, well, wait a minute. The owner of the Goldfield Hotel chained a woman to a radiator, I think it was, in one of the rooms or something. And she was starved kind of to death. And then when she had her baby, he took it and threw it down a mine shaft or something.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's a really weird story. Well, that person who owns the Goldfield Hotel was in business at this location that we were at, and I didn't really put the 2 and 2 together. Somebody had mentioned that. All of a sudden, I got the wooziness and everything, and I had to actually leave the building because I was feeling so terrible, so horrible. It felt like I had been drugged or maybe possibly hit over the head really hard. Gathered my thoughts. I was outside for about 10 minutes and then came back in, and everything was fine, but I was so tired and so spent from that I just sat down up against a wall, and they decided to play period music, you know, to see if they could draw out the spirits a little bit more, and I fell asleep. And I looked down at my quarter when I woke up, and I had been asleep for about 20 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So it just wiped me out. And that just happened, you know, 3-4 weeks ago. So it's one of those experiences that's really, really fresh in my head. And it's not like it's scary. It was a little bit scary at the time because I didn't know what was happening. And for that to happen, it was, a little unnerving. A little unnerving.
So what happens when you're at a location with your team and there's, you know, bad entities or bad spirits, and maybe somebody's getting scratched, or you're picking up just really bad energy? Do you take your team out of that situation, or how do you work around that?
Each case is going to be different, but I always say, you know, if you feel like in danger, leave. You know, go outside, leave the property, whatever you need to do. And we've had to do that a few times, to just, you know, outside and hang out for a little bit, let things calm down. It hasn't gotten so intense that we all had to flee and go. So that's never happened, luckily. But I think a lot of the times the spirits, they're misunderstood. I think a lot of times they, you know, just kind of relay their thoughts and energy in a different way, and people kind of receive that a little bit differently. They receive it as being threatened by it.
What's the best kind of evidence you get? Is it audio or visual, or what do you have more success with?
Usually audio. Yeah, we don't have too much video. I've got one picture that I've taken. A couple of the team members have had pictures. Just a few of like really different shadows. We've got a few video clips that are kind of, you know, not real sure what they are. We tried to recreate them, and you know, light was coming from different areas that shouldn't have had light coming from there. So it's one of those things that, you know, well, we're not really sure, we'll just kind of throw it on the back burner. But usually EVP. EVP is usually what we get the most.
Okay. We have another question from Corey. He says, what's your most traumatic and in-your-face paranormal encounter which helped reaffirm that it's all real?
In my face. Wow.
Someone said, get out of here.
I mean, I've seen shadows before, you know, in some places. Haven't really had anything come right up to me. You know, just getting EVP that's cussing at us and stuff like that tells me, you know, either the person's really angry or what the hell's his problem. But I mean, I had experiences growing up that kind of told me that something was going on. You know, to just see a dead relative in a room, you know, years after he had passed, pretty much told me that something else is going on.
I know that you have been to the infamous Camarillo Hospital, and you are one of the few people that I know that have said that you really didn't get anything there, right?
Got nothing.
Wow.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Now, when I say few, I mean there's like a few people that I know, you know. when I went there, when I first started going there, I was getting a lot of stuff, and it's kind of, right now it's closed down, and unfortunately there's some paranormal teams that will break in and stuff, and they'll leave evidence that they've been there. We're very cautious about how we do things. For instance, there's a gate there that we can go through, but we have to put it back together, and if it isn't put back together, they're going to do something to cover it, which just happened. So now it's kind of boarded up and everything like that. And now, we're doing this documentary on it, so we have access to a lot of the places that a lot of the paranormal people can't get to. And just recently, we and I got access to something called the Black Bathroom that hasn't been nobody's been in it for a very long time. Yeah.
Sweet.
So, yeah. Actually, we got access to a very humongous, big ward, and the Black Bathroom happened to be in there, and barber shop, and just like all this crazy stuff. When you went, where exactly did you go? Where were you able to access to?
If I even knew, I get so lost there.
Yeah.
I kind of enjoyed the Scary Dairy at first. We hiked the whole way. It was during the day. But, I'm into photography, so I was taking some pictures. I get a lot of sensations. I'll feel emotions. I can't say that I'm psychic or have mediumship abilities, but sometimes those emotions do come through. And I got some really weird feelings out of the Scary Dairy. Not threatening. It was more anticipation, anxiety. And it wasn't me. There was no reason for me to feel that way. And I know we got in the I know we were in the children's ward. We did a little bit in the bell tower, and I honestly don't even remember what the places were called. Because we were just wandering, looking for anything that was open.
So you didn't
you didn't get anything you didn't kind of like EVPs or anything like that?
Mm-mm. No, and I'm finding that more and more. It might depend on the recorder that I'm using, but it seems that they're not communicating with me that way. Now it seems that they're communicating with me more emotion. That's the only thing I can think of. But I was kind of surprised, because everybody had talked about this place, and when I finally, did muster up enough courage to go, something had actually told me for a long time not to even go there. It was cautioning me to go, or not to go. So when I finally did, I was, kind of surprised. I think a couple of people that were with us said they got something. But it was so short that the responses. I'm not even totally positive that it was EVP.
What is your opinion on attachments?
Oh gosh, I've been told they can happen. I think I've been kind of lucky that I've had people on the other side looking out for me is all I can say about it. Unfortunately, it also gives me a false sense of security, and I find myself not doing the protection, prayers and that sort of thing. And I think it also kind of adds to why I don't get a whole lot of EVP and evidence in places. I have a feeling that my actors are telling them to get the hell away from me. So I joke a lot about how I'm kind of ghost repellent, because I'll go into a place and nothing happens. As soon as I leave, it seems like all hell breaks loose. So I don't know. I find that really, really strange. But yeah.